All right, y'all, we're gonna go for this ride, and today we're gonna talk about the worst Sgt-at-Arms I ever met, and I'm gonna keep it real and tell you how I fucked up as a Sgt-at-Arms. Let's get into it.
We run the night, we run the night,
All right, y'all, we back for another one. I just got back from Taiwan, super under the weather. It's getting colder here on the East Coast, but I had to go for this ride so we could talk that talk. And we're gonna talk about the worst Sgt-at-Arms I ever met. And we're also gonna talk about what I did, because I'm big on accountability. I want to know what you think about this situation. We'll start with mines first, where I feel that I didn't do right by my president. Because a Sgt-at-Arms, your main job is to protect the president. So I'm in a regular chapter, I'm Sgt-at-Arms. Now, the Nomad president is somebody that I became very close with, elder, taught me everything I know. All my knowledge was coming from him. And I just was really inspired to go on this nomad journey. So going to be a nomad, I was going to be just not any position, just a regular member. I have Demons Row starting to roll, and I wanted to focus on my business, so I didn't want to take a position. So when I left, I knew that the writing was on the wall for my president, and the reason why is because I knew that the VP and the new sergeant wanted his spot. Like, I had defended him in quite a few situations and protected him, where they tried to bring prospects in, they tried to bring hang-arounds, people that are not fully patched, to discredit him and to get him removed. And I told them, you can't have people that are not fully patched talking bad about a president. They haven't earned their stripes yet. So I protected him, but I knew leaving, he wasn't protected anymore. So you let me know in the comments when I left, was I wrong? You know, because I wanted to experience what being a nomad was like. And I started to think a little about myself, you know, myself and my family, what I wanted out of life. You know, my business was rolling. The nomad president knew that and supported me. And not that my other president didn't support me. He was a good brother, but the nomad president did not care. He was like, yo, do your thing. We're gonna understand that you're busy sometimes, and then other times you can do stuff, you know. And that situation, it worked for me. It was really good for me, and I learned a lot. Was I wrong for stepping out? That's what I want you to tell me in the comments. What do you feel like? Was I wrong for thinking about myself for that moment and not protecting the president? But there's another part of it where if I leave and the president has a Sgt-at-Arms that wants his spot, shouldn't he pick somebody else as a Sgt-at-Arms that'll have his back? You know, and as a matter of fact, it was a vote. It was a vote, and they voted him in, so he didn't really have a choice like that. I mean, he kind of bullied his way in. It wasn't really like they, you know, unanimously they wanted him in. He was one of the stronger members, and you know, he kind of forced his way through. Then also as a nomad, I had situations where I was asked to level up, and when I didn't do that, I made way for one of the worst Sgt-at-Arms that I ever met, because he would eventually usurp the president and just go against the code of what his job was. If you're a Sgt-at-Arms and your president is removed by you, that means you didn't protect him. And that's exactly what happened. And you know, the president had his faults, but it was one of the smoothest criminal kind of situations I ever saw, because this guy was very laid back, wasn't aggressive at all, played the cool role. As soon as he got his foot in that position where the president's back was against the ropes, he just straight up put him out the club, put him out bad, disgraced his name. And I didn't respect it, and I didn't abide by what they said, like, oh, you can't talk to him anymore, he's out bad. I was like, I don't give a shit. You know, that's the type of person I am. Once I get, like, if I find that something was unjust, I do not stand by it, and I will go against the grain. That's always been me. I'm not the type that'll be like, rules is rules, he's president now, what he says goes. No, if somebody's getting put out bad, a fully patched member, there needs to be a vote, and not just from the board. That's the problem with clubs. The board has too much power. The board will make all the decisions and then dictate it to fully patch members. I think for a club to run correctly, everybody should be in that conversation. And my theory is this: if you're having meetings and you're bringing up topics and you're like, this is the topic, right? Let's say it's whatever, it's something with the clubhouse. That's important to you. The club can't say, oh, well, that's not really an important topic right now. Let's talk about that, because they're not in the meeting. So you're talking about subjects that are passionate to whoever's on the board. And if you don't know what the board is, that's the president, vice president, Sgt-at-Arms, treasurer, secretary. You know, that's the breakdown of the board. So it's 5 people that are conducting all the club's business. And it's not fair to people that earn their patch. They should have the same say as you. An officer position should just be a job. It should not be a dictatorship where it's just like, you know, and the dude was like, basically like, well, if you don't like it, y'all can leave. You cannot do that in an outlaw club. Everybody's voice should matter. And it doesn't always go like that. And I'm not saying that some clubs don't run it correctly like that, but a lot of times when there's a board, those conversations are being had without full patch members really getting their voice in. And my problem with this whole theory of I want to talk down a brother once I'm in position and take his spot, nobody gives a shit who the president of your club is. Only the people in your club, and only a small minority of them. When you go to a club event, do you really think that people care about you? Do you really think the next club gives a shit who your president is? They could care less. There is no real power in it. That's why I don't understand. You know, if you're in a big national club, there's some perks. I'm not gonna say there's no perks, but if you get your own money and you live well, that type of shit don't matter to you. Me personally, I never cared about position. I never looked at a brother that's, you know, in a president spot like he was more important than good brothers in the club. I value brothers' personalities. I value what type of person they are. I could give a shit what position they are. Some of the best brothers I ever met held no position. Some of the greatest elders did not want position, and people that I love and respect. I don't know, man. That's one thing about the culture that needs to change, is people need to stop caring about position. You know how many people I know that are in a club that they created strictly for the fact that they want to be the president of 5 people? That is an epidemic. You know how many people are in that situation? They want to, I want to start a new club because what we're doing nobody else ever did. Bruh, there's 500 clubs that's doing the same thing you did. You just want to be a president of your own club. Look around. You see them, dysfunctional. They'll have 5 people, and that one dude is just happy to boss around 4 people and call himself a president, walk around with his old lady like she's a member of the club. You see these dudes where their old lady thinks she's queen of the club. You know, it's a joke. I think that's part of what's ruining the culture. I think people should join established clubs. To each his own. There's so many clubs out here. What is it that you're gonna do that's so different? I don't get it. I mean, I want to help charity or whatever. You know, there's clubs that do all of that. There's even outlaw clubs that help with charity. So what are you really doing that nobody did before? Let me know that in the comments. If you're one of these people that I had to start my club because no other club existed. I can't think of a club that you can name right now that I can't come back at you with another club that exists that does the same shit. Like literally. I don't care if it's Masonic, Christian, veteran, whatever it is. Baka, you know, they help kids. So you can't say that I'm starting something new that never existed before, because the culture is so vast. There's so many clubs that I think it's an oversaturation of clubs. And then what happens is a lot of people are leaving them because they're like, this shit ain't for me. Now, let's talk about some of the best Sgt-at-Arms, because I've experienced some really good Sgt-at-Arms. When I was in my prime, I was a great Sgt-at-Arms. And I'm not just saying it because it was me, because you just heard before when I left, you know, maybe I wasn't 100% right, you know? And I could wear that, you know? That's how we grow from the mistakes that we made. And I don't even really know if it was a mistake, you know? To each his own. I like what I built here. I wanted to build my own legacy. and build my movement, you know, to each his own. I had a Sgt-at-Arms that, I tell this story a lot, but I had a Sgt-at-Arms that was like, he was the type of person that led by example. I spoke of a story of where I left my cut hanging on the back of my chair in the clubhouse. I was a prospect at this time. I didn't feel like certain rules applied when it's just brothers. Like, it wasn't like an open clubhouse. It was only brothers. So I had the cut sitting on the back of my chair, you know, rookie move. And they took the cut and I wasn't looking. I turned around, I started panicking. I'm like, yo, somebody took my cut. What the, you know? And I'm ready to bang, because this is when I just came out of gang banging. I'm fresh into the world, and I'm the type of person, when I get into something new, I want to establish myself. Like, I want people to know I'm here and I'm not playing. Like, I'm not one of those guys that's gonna play games with you. Turns out that it was one of the club brothers, right? And the Sgt-at-Arms comes up to me and he says, yo, you need to break down and do push-ups if you want your cut back. And I'm like, yo, bro, stop playing with me, bro. Like, I was ready to get it in with him that day. Like, I'm really like, yo, bro, stop playing with me. Like, give me my shit back. We don't do that where I'm from. We don't play like I could rob you at will. So they see that I was getting escalated, and he took it as a learning lesson. And it wasn't because he was soft, because the sergeant was a real dude. But he was like, bro, if you're going to be a prospect, you have to learn to put your ego to the side. I'll break down and do push-ups with you, but you got to do this to show that you're really about this shit. He was like, come on, let's do this shit. So I got down with him. We started doing the push-ups. That's a real brother. Like, that's a great Sgt-at-Arms. When I was a Sgt-at-Arms, I was not the aggressor type, but I would hype people up when they needed to, and then I would be laid back when needed to, and I would always defend my brothers. I remember one time there was another fully patched member that was extremely drunk, and he comes up to one of my prospects who I love and who is a fully patched member now. You know, I'm not gonna say his name obviously and put him on blast. Somebody I love, great heart, great brother, and he started, the brother was fully patched. He goes up to him and he starts taking his cut off. Oh, yo, you're not built for this shit. Like, yo, why you got this on? And, you know, in reality, I should have let him fend for himself. Like, he should have punched him in the face, in my opinion. But he was conflicted because this is a fully patched member. He's a prospect. And for mother. So it's like, damn, am I in a position where he should take my cut because he's so well pleased? So I walk up to him and I pushed him back and I'm like, yo, bro, let me tell you something. I'm his Sgt-at-Arms. I'm the only one who can touch his vest. So back the fuck up. And he was like, yo, you my brother or whatever. I'm like, yeah, you my brother, but you out of line. And he's like, yeah, but he's a prospect. I was like, I get that, bro, but he didn't do nothing wrong. And you drunk. And, you know, some people would be like, oh, but he's fully patched. He's right anyway. I didn't give a fuck. If you're wrong, you're wrong. And I told him, I say, yo, bro, I'm his Sgt-at-Arms. If you got a problem with him, you ask me. You don't just take his cut off. You don't know what his situation is. And then when we were done, you know, we brought him back in. I told mother, I'm like, yo, take this fool because he's drunk, you know, and I like assisted him into the clubhouse. And I'm like, yo, take this fool because he's drunk, acting up. And he just took the prospect's cut off for no fucking reason other than he's drunk. So then, you know, they got on him. He didn't get in trouble or none, obviously, but, you know. And then I go up to the prospect and I was like, bro, you never let nobody touch your colors. I don't give a fuck who it is, bro. I'm your sergeant. If I ask for your cut, you give it to me. But if a random member comes up to you and tells you to take your cut off, you don't take your cut off for anybody. And this goes to anybody in the culture. Don't just let people take your shit, you know? Unless, and I always say this and people get mad, unless it's a diamond club, you're in a 99, you're not ready for what comes with that. Your club is not ready for what comes with that, and you give it up because your life is more important. That's just my personal opinion. Me personally, would I do that? No, but I'm a different person. And the situations, everybody's not built for the same things. Everybody's not as seasoned as I am. Everybody hasn't gone through the things that I've gone through. And plus, if you're in a 99 and they tell you to take it off, you got to remember, it's your whole club. If you do pop off, let's say you knock this dude out. It's not just you and that dude. Now your club, the people that are in your club are now on the hot seat. Now they're in danger. So it's just something to think about. Let me know what you think in the comments. Get your paisley gloves right now. The black ones went so fast. We got limited sizes, but I got a new shipment coming in. We got the red ones, the green ones, navy blue. They're almost all sold out, so we're like reing up on everything. So I appreciate y'all for that. Go to www.demonsroad.com. Thank you for tuning in to Demons Road TV, the holy grail of MC culture. Like, subscribe, and comment. And oh yeah, we ghosted, baby.